So I was texting a friend the other day when out of the blue he told me once I see rag on your page, there's a 50% chance I'm going to mute or block you. He was talking in respect to Twitter, by the way. I say X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever. And at first it was funny. I was a bit offended. I was like, I don't tweet stuff like that, but come on. But then I realized why not make a video talking about Rag, like what it's about. At first, it was supposed to be as a joke, just to make fun of him. But then I decided to make this kind of like an informative video. What actually is Rag? And I will probably publish an article. I'll leave that in the description. I will write something on Medium. Actually, I have written it already, but I'll publish it after sending this out. So, what is RAG and why is it suddenly everywhere? So before RAG, we had two main problems with LLMs. First, static knowledge. An LLM only knows what it learns during its training phase. And sometimes we know when you want to train, like an LLM, you have data from like a particular time frame, let's say from the year 1 to 2023. So the LLM only knows stuff that happened between that time period. And that knowledge gets old really fast. For example, 2023, after we've had elections, we had like really important life altering events. And sometimes you can ask the chatbot, just like a random chatbot, who won the 2025 World Series. And it's like, oh, my knowledge cutoff is 2023. That's a major problem with LLMs. The second one, hallucination. When an LLM doesn't know an answer, it often invents one. So, now we have our static knowledge. The LLM doesn't know what happened beyond this time period, but then it hallucinates and give you the wrong answer. But this is where RAG comes in. RAG stands for Retrieval-Augmented Generation. The official definition is actually a process that optimizes an LLM's output by referencing an authoritative knowledge base outside its training data before it generates a response. Keyword, or I say key phrase here, authoritative knowledge base. But the simple version is like an open book exam. This is a good way to think about it. Think of a standard LLM as a student. Normally, it takes a test from memory using what it has learned. But then an LLM with RAG gets to retrieve the textbook, gets to look through the past notes, like, okay, let me quickly find the right page, then generate the answer. It's that simple. So, how does RAG work? My friend also had a great idea. Why can't I just put my resume into ChatGPT? This is good. But what if you have 10,000 resumes or like a million medical documents? Things like, you know, let's think big. Sometimes just uploading your stuff to ChatGPT doesn't work. Why? Because we have a limited context window. But I wouldn't really go into that now. That's not the aim of my video. But let's think of it like this. You need a pipeline, like your RAG pipeline. It's kind of a two-phase process. And the first phase is data ingestion. Before anybody asks a question, you need to prepare your authoritative knowledge base, your library. This is the data ingestion. You chunk your documents into small manageable pieces. Each chunk is fed into an embedding model, which converts its semantic meaning into a numerical list called a vector. Think of it like a digital fingerprint for the information. All these vectors are stored in a specialized vector database. Now, when you ask a question, the real-time process begins. First, your question is also converted to a vector. The system performs a relevancy search in the vector database to find the text chunks that are mathematically closest to your question's meaning. Three, we have the augmented part. Remember, RAG is Retrieval-Augmented Generation. The system automatically bundles your question with the relevant chunks from the vector database to create a new super prompt. This augmented prompt is now sent back to the LLM, the generator, which now has all the facts it needs to write an accurate cited answer. Now, why can't I just fine tune? Like, duh, that's obvious, guys. This is actually a common confusion and something I did think about too. Fine tuning is like restudying because you retrain the model's core brain. It's great. Like, I think it's good, but it's expensive, it's slow, and the new knowledge is also static because you also fine tune it on data that is extracted, like that's based on a different time frame. Like, let's say we have our Gemini with a cutoff date of 2023, we fine tune up to 2025. In 2026, the data is obsolete again. So every time you need to fine tune, fine tune, fine tune. No. So RAG is just a nice way to inject factual knowledge. It's cheap, it's fast, it's dynamic. Like you can update the vector database without needing to retrain the model every time. This is like asynchronous updates. I think it's just good. Sorry if I sound like a rag shill. I'm just trying to explain why it's good. Like, of course, every tool is good for its own job. So it's kind of like about using the right tool for the job. So if you always want to have like dynamically updated data, like your LLM should have access to, I think RAG is a good deal. But then it's also not a magic bullet. Like sometimes it could be bad. And this is about the retrieval quality. I mean, most of the time, it depends on the retrieval quality. We all know garbage in, garbage out principle. So, what if your retriever pulls out the wrong data? The AI would confidently generate a wrong answer based on this wrong fact. This is why semantic search and your data pipeline is really important. And I think this is why frameworks like LangChain, Llama Index exist. They help like manage this complexity and all of that. So yeah, that's RAG. It's not just a buzzword, it's like the critical architecture that connects the powerful brains of LLMs to the real-time factual and proprietary data of the outside world. So if this clear things up for you, drop a like, subscribe. I think I will be explaining some quick AI concepts I find interesting. So if you have any AI buzzword that confuses you, let me know in the comments. Thank you.